Good afternoon, everyone. Super Freeze is coming back to the U.S. middle month. All the planet 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Super Freeze is coming back to the U.S. Also, meat packers colluding to drive up prices in America of the meat you buy. Planets are all in a line, and Schumann resins is spiking. Do you feel different? Let's take a look at it. And the dreaded polar vortex returns mid-month, past the 20th a little bit, but we're getting back into a super freeze event. If your flowers have already bloomed out because of the excess heat in the last 2 weeks, you're going to lose those. Protect your plants. Looking at what would be considered 3D from the snows in Colorado, it's just the way the farm fields are set up. No, this is not computer generated. It's really what the farm fields look like from the air after the snowstorms. Shows you who has cover crops, who doesn't, and who tilled under before the season ended. So let's take a look at this super freeze. Starts on the 19th, and as we move forward into the 20th, some of these same exact areas really far south of Texas, right in the Midwest grow belt. Luckily, nothing's out in the fields that'll get damaged yet, but this thing is going to push east, and look how much of the eastern United States this thing encompasses. Really more than half of the U.S. That's on the 20th, and then if we come a little bit later in the day, you start to see how this thing's moving offshore. But again, there'll be tremendous draw on the power grids, and with this type of getting toward, let's say, spring, there's going to be a lot more action with moisture that could result in freezing rain and ice, again like we saw with the sleet everywhere. But if it's going to get that cold and you provide the cats a nice warm spot to lay on, like your Starlink receiver, for example, cats are going to take advantage. They always do. And I know this is a little bit longer range forecast here, but look at the snow depths. If these come in anywhere close to what it is being, this is going to be an epic record snowfall end of the season here. Some of these places are approaching 45 inches. Preceding the front, you get the slamming of moisture in there. And look, right at these mountainous areas, 50 plus inches. We'll see how it pans out. Boston not hit so heavily with the snow this year like it was a couple years back, where it didn't melt off until the end of June and the first week of July. So let's stay warm together. I remember seeing this image here. Speaking of warming things up, our latest technology, and here it is in action. Taking mythical solar figures, Helios, and slamming them on the planet. I wonder what that burned through in terms of metals. Hey, staying with tech, why don't we? Look at the border there, Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia, straight up off Crossville. And notice the tic-tac-toe, and we move forward a little bit past 4:30, and it seems to move as its own intertwining loop of, well, explain that one to me. Those ain't clouds. Because when you see something like this, Japan, Obihiro City, 120 centimeters or 47 inches in just 12 hours. Broke all records. Look at the airport here. Planes are buried there. This just does not seem normal, even with the CFX snows that they get every year. Breaking records so far above. This is more than doubling the previous records ever recorded for most snowfall in 12 hours ever in the history of Japan. And you can see the snow clearing equipment that is so deep in itself, just waiting to clear out. So what does that say about a bending and twisting atmosphere? Did you know a 2024 study found collagen supplements can boost skin hydration by 14%, improve elasticity by 23%, and reduce wrinkles by nearly 20% in just 12 weeks? This is your sign to use collagen to transform your skin from inside out. That's why I've been using this amazing product for the last few years. Unlike other collagen supplements, this collagen uses the top 5 types of collagen for skin health. This premium collagen blend works together to help reduce visible signs of aging, reduce wrinkles. I just mix it into my morning coffee or smoothie, and you can too. Try it yourself and start healing your skin. Place your order while it's still 51% off now, only at healthwithadapt2030.com. Plus, you'll also receive some free bonuses like the 14 foods for amazing skin, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping if you order now. This offer is only available at healthwithadapt2030.com. That's healthwithadapt2030.com. or click on that link in the description box below. And the extremes are really starting to hit across the planet right now. You can see it everywhere, whether it be temperatures or the drought cycle. Things are, well, following what would be considered a multi-thousand-year cycle. We got the Earth's magnetic field declining, and things are allowed to move into different positions that they wouldn't normally be able to move into. So we get amplified jet streams, amplified polar vortex. Again, the drying patterns in certain areas that seem to be cut off lows or cut off highs that are just in an area for a very long period of time. We have all that moisture from the Hunga Tonga eruption still running around the southern hemisphere across Brazil with all of its record floods. It seems like a majority of that is coming out of the atmosphere right now. And if you look at some of the projections and measurements, following behind it after those larger droplets condensed and came out of the atmosphere, it took all the moisture out. So you're seeing drought patterns in areas that were receiving record floods before, because literally that water has been flushed out of the sky, hasn't replenished itself yet. So as we move forward over the next couple of months, getting into monsoon seasons, we might see a replenishment of that. But that's one of the after effects that nobody had measured or seen or even contemplated, that the extra droplets would rip more droplets out of the air as they came down. And instead of maybe 1, 2, 5 coalescing and creating a raindrop, it'd be 1, 2, 5, 10, 25 with the extra moisture from Hunga Tonga. And that clearing out of, like I say, that moisture column in the atmosphere, creating a lot of strangeness right now. Hopefully this is year 3, so hopefully we're at the end of it. It'll readjust itself from extreme wet to extreme dry, and then hopefully we'll get some smoothing balance as the Earth always rebalances itself. We're in a natural rebalancing system right here on this planet. And speaking of balance, load smoothing for a better term, historic moment, Estonia leaving the Russian power grid. Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, and you can see they've actually disconnected right there with the electrical arcs making a statement. Now, what is this going to do for their power prices? Well, probably the same thing that we're going to see in 2023 for the UK. Highest electrical prices across the EU. So we're going to see some readjustment with that as well. Now, speaking of electricity, if you're feeling a little bit of strangeness over the last couple of days, Schumann resonance, people send me these charts a lot, but this is an extreme example of that millivolt charge around you in the atmosphere into the Earth's crust. What surrounds you is electricity that has been talked about time immemorial of being tapped as an energy source is highly amplified right now. So human emotions go right along with this. We're at a base frequency, and when that gets pushed up to highly electrified, we feel it, and people get what do you call angst would be a best term for it. And also at the same time, if you're looking in the night skies, this was last night, but tonight you should still be able to see something very similar. Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and Saturn all in a line. And we will not see this again for some time. Enjoy the show. Get out the binoculars. And something that kind of just makes me grind my teeth here, this price fixing that's going on, and nobody in the last 4 years did this but amplified it. No action was taken to stop this price fixing. Unbelievable, truly is what it is. So JBS had to pay now $83.5 million because they were price fixing. But Tyson Foods, Cargill, and National Beef also are defendants in this case. So if you're wondering why your meat prices are increasing and everything's costing more, yeah, they're colluding together to strip you of your wealth. And also over in the UK, they're talking about a new VAT tax on meat and dairy. So again, everywhere you look, there's going to be more cost for this. Hey, I thought I heard that talked about 2 years ago, and we thought we kicked it to the curb, but nope, it's right back. So whatever the VAT would be, 17% extra to buy the meat. It's almost like having a 25% tariff, but in your own country, on your own products, produced in your own country. And it does seem like all roads are leading back to Rome. Well, Davos, really. So how do we work our way out of this bear trap that has been set for our planet to redistribute wealth? And that's a valid question, because we thought a lot of these policies had stopped, died on the vine, but they just got remorphed, regurgitated, renamed, and still continue. That's what I said. United States is a single country going on in the world here, talking about tariffs and doing all this and restructuring and getting out of the Green Deal and all these things. That's the U.S. But the rest of the world continues to march on with their marching orders from Davos lockstep. So it's almost like being firewalled off. If you ever hear the stories of, China and Japan are good examples. They cut their society off. 200 years later, we rock up with gunboats. They hadn't progressed in technology, and you saw what happened in Hong Kong and also in Japan. So history is repeating itself in many ways, shapes, or forms. But this wealth distribution is ongoing, and it shall continue. At what point can we actually put a wrench into the gears and stop it cold? That's why I'm doing the channel, to compare information. So please share this with your friends and family. Appreciate you watching. And for those of you supporting me on Patreon, just dropped a new video talking about some of these same issues, but in much more detail. You can support me on Patreon or Subscribe Star, and also Ransom Godwin and myself, Civilization Psycho Podcast. Join us on the YouTube channel and the Rumble channel. We're getting those populated for you with our latest content 2 hours at a time from Thursday night live radio show. See you next time. Bye for now.